Hi everyone, my name is Abhuraj Garakapati. Welcome to my YouTube channel Amazing Abhai.
Ride into another world.
One Piece is packed with tons of strong characters. But do you know who the absolute strongest human is? What about the strongest fish man, giant or even dwarf? Well, today we'll go over every single race in One Piece and pick the strongest from each race, starting with the natural races and the humans. And the strongest human ever is, well, not Roger, not Shanks, not even Luffy, because it's obviously Rox D. Sebek. This guy wasn't just strong. He was a straight-up monster, with superhuman strength. Like he destroyed the Gate of Justice all by himself, took out a Marine Admiral before even becoming a pirate, and once he did, he led the craziest crew ever. As the captain of the Rocks Pirates, Whitebeard, Kaido, Big Mom, Shiki and more. If you're the captain of that crew, you've got to be on a whole other level. And his dream? Well, Rocks casually just wants to be the king of the entire world, and to achieve this dream, he leaves mass destruction wherever he goes. He was just that OP, like it took both Garb and Roger teaming up just to stop him. And I mean, if you can break into the Room of Flowers at Merewa and threaten Imu, the literal secret ruler of the world, you have to be the strongest human in history. Moving on to another human race, the Kumari tribe, who are a violent and isolated group of humans who are basically cannibals. But since we literally don't know any characters from the Kumari tribe, let's just continue with the Kumaid tribe. And here we of course know a lot of characters, but the strongest of all the Kumaid is obviously Boa Hancock. She's not just known for her beauty, but also for her insane strength. Her love fruit lets her literally turn people into stone who think she's beautiful. And yeah, almost everyone thinks this woman is beautiful, except for Luffy of course. Anyway, beyond her devil fruit, Hancock's fast, agile and incredibly strong. So she's the easy choice for the Kumaid tribe. Now moving on to another human race, we've got the Torino people. And here we've got Shanba. Well, we really didn't have much of a choice here, since Shanba is literally the only known Torino. Anyway, we first see Shanba when Chopper Crash lands on the Torino kingdom. And Shanba, he's short, round, and barely over a meter tall. But don't let his looks fool you. These little guys are actually pretty smart. Like Shanba uses some pretty advanced tech, like those rocket spears, and he's surprisingly good with them too. Alright, the last human race we got to talk about are the world nobles. And some of you probably didn't think of this guy right away, but Shanks is obviously the choice for the strongest here. Yep, Shanks is a world noble since he's part of the Figurlin family, one of the royal bloodlines. And come on, we all already know how ridiculously strong this man is. Like with his insane conquerors, Haki, he doesn't even need a devil fruit to destroy his enemies. He can literally just use his Haki to make even Admiral scared of him. Combine that with his swordsman skills, and you've got one of the strongest guys in the entire series. Sure, his dad Garling and his brother Shamrock are strong too, and the 5 elders are literally monsters. But Shanks is the obvious choice. Moving on from the human races, let's talk about the fishmen. And the strongest fishman is not Jack. It's 100% Jimbei. He's got insane physical strength and endurance. And with his mastery of fishman karate, Jimbei can go head-to-head against anyone. On top of his strength, Jimbei is calm, smart, and has years of battle experience as a former Sun Pirate and Warlord. Oh, and he stood up to Big Mom without flinching. Talking about fishmen, we of course got to talk about the merfolk. And here, I just had to choose Shirahoshi. Yeah, I know she's a bit of a crybaby and she's definitely not the strongest physically. But she's literally the ancient weapon Poseidon. That means she can command the Sea Kings, who are massive sea monsters that can wreck entire fleets or even sink islands. So while she might not throw punches, she's got one of the most terrifying powers in the entire world. So she just has to be the strongest from the merfolk. Alright, so that was the merfolk. But now we've got the giants. And the strongest of the giants? That's gotta be Loki. Yeah, we haven't seen this guy in full action yet, but as Loki is said to have completely monster strength even by giant standards, he's the obvious choice for the strongest giant. Like just look at this guy. He also wields a massive warhammer called Ragnar, and with it, he can summon giant bolts of lightning to strike whatever he hits. Oh, and Loki's eaten a legendary devil fruit. but although its type and powers are currently unknown, we all just know it. Before we move ahead, please take a second to like on this video. A like tells me that you enjoyed this topic. Your support helps amazing Haki grow naturally. Gonna be something insane. So yeah, he's the strongest, no doubt. Next up, let's talk about the Skypieans. And the strongest of the Sky people is of course Ganfall. He's a former god of Skypia, a skilled warrior, and together with his pet bird Pierre, he rides around using his lands to take out anyone who threatens the Sky Island. Even though he's old, Ganfall still throws hands and earns everyone's respect for protecting his people. Staying in Skypia, we gotta talk about the Shandians. And yeah, you might think Wiper's the strongest, but nope. The strongest Shandian in history is Kelgarda. This guy literally took down this giant snake all by himself, showing just how insanely strong he is. Like Wiper and Zoro couldn't even scratch the snake Nola. That pretty much says how crazy strong this guy was, right? He's super fast, powerful, and those who heard of legends about him often compare him to a demon. Alright, the last of the Sky Island residents are the Buccaneers. And yeah, no surprise here, and now is obviously the strongest. The self-proclaimed god of Skypia with the power of the rumble fruit, and his insane observation Haki is untouchable by most people. I mean, the only reason Luffy beat this guy was because of the insane power of plot armor. Anyone else trying to stand in his way would get fried. So, and now is easily the strongest character of the Buccaneers. But moving on, let's talk about the Minks and the strongest. Mink, or well, the strongest Minks are Inuyasha and Nekomamashi. Yeah, we just can't split these guys up. As together, they are the former rulers of the Makomo Dukedom, and they are both beasts. Like they fought Jack and the Beast Pirates for 5 days straight, got poisoned and tortured, and still survived. Plus, in their sea-along form, they get a huge power boost. So in this insane form, Inuyasha took down Jack, Nekomamashi beat Pero, and together they even landed hits on Kaido. So yeah, when it comes to the Minks, these two are the best. Now we've got the Long Arm tribe, and Scratchman Apu is without a doubt the strongest here. Sure, he's got those extra long arms and extra elbows that give him an edge in close combat, but Apu actually prefers to fight from a distance. Why? Because of his wild sound fruit, which literally turns his body into instruments, and with one beat, boom, he's slicing, blowing things up, or bashing enemies with his crazy music. Combine that with his agility and durability, and Apu easily stands at the top of the Long Arm tribe. But what about the Long Leg tribe? Well, the strongest here is Charlotte Smoothie. She's not just one of Big Mom's kids, she's also a sweet commander, and stands at a massive 932 cm tall. As a long leg, she's got insane leg strength and reach, but what really makes her dangerous is her ring fruit. She can literally take out her opponents by squeezing the juice out of people. Crazy, right? And with this juice, she can also power herself up. Plus, she's a skilled swordsman launching huge flying slashes with ease. Instead of long limbs, we now reach the Three-Eye tribe, and the choice here is pretty obvious. Charlotte Pudding. Why? Well, she's literally the only known member of this race so far. Sure, she's not the strongest in terms of raw power, and she hasn't even awakened her third eye yet. But her potential is huge. Once awakened, her eye will let her read pomegranates. Something only a handful of people in the world can do. That alone makes her incredibly valuable when it comes to uncovering the truth about the Void Century and finding the way to Laughdale. Oh, she's pretty good with her gun though. Anyway, let's move on to the dwarves, and the strongest from these tiny guys is Leo. As the leader of the Tantacore, he's not just brave. He's insanely fast, strong, and super skilled with his so fruit, which lets him stitch up wounds, trap enemies mid-fight, or literally sew people to the ground. So don't let his size fool you. Leo is way stronger than he looks. Just ask Charlos. Next up is the Snake Neck tribe. And we've got another Big Mom pirate, this time it's Charlotte Amanda. She's Big Mom's third daughter and one of her top officers, and her long neck, well, it's actually just for looks. Yeah, seriously. So instead, we gotta talk about her ridiculous sword skills. Because Ammon wields the legendary sword Shirawo, and she easily wiped out an entire army of armored knights, sliced through Kingbom, and even cut down Paraspero's candy wall like it was nothing. So yeah, out of all the long neck characters we've seen, Ammon does by far the deadliest. Now to an even weirder race. The Kinokubito. These guys are literally walking. Before we move ahead, please take a second to share on this video. Sharing helps this video reach friends who may also enjoy anime, gaming, travel, cricket, chess, career basics, or personal stories. Your support helps. Amazing Abhai grow naturally. Mushrooms with 4 legs, and they're super rare. Like Big Mom even has one locked away in her creepy book of rare creatures, and he's literally calling for help. But yeah, that's all we've seen of the Kinokubito, so let's just move on to the Lunarians. And the strongest from this legendary race is King, because well, he's literally the only known survivor. Anyway, as Kaido's right-hand man and one of the all-stars, King has crazy durability, insane strength, and incredible speed, plus that broken Lunarian flame that makes him basically untouchable while it's on top of his overpowered Lunarian blood. With his dragon fruit model, Pachyrannodon, this guy is almost unstoppable. Alright, that was all the natural races. So now it's time to talk about the hybrid races, and these guys are mixes of 2 different species, like if a fish man and a giant had a kid. Just like the first race, we're gonna talk about the Wotan, and the strongest Wotan is Big Pan. He's got the best of both worlds. His giant side gives him insane size and strength, and his fish man's side gives him underwater abilities. Like his skin is super slippery, making it really hard to land any hits on this guy. So yeah, Big Pan easily takes the crown as the strongest Wotan we've seen so far. Now on to the Longlim humans, or at least we would have if we had actually seen one. So yeah, onto the Longlim necks. But same problem, we don't know of any Longlim necks. So let's continue to the Buccaneers, and the strongest Buccaneer, and literally the last one alive, is none other than Bartholomew Kuma. He's got insane durability, monster-level strength, and the crazy paw fruit that lets him repel anything and literally teleport people across the world, like sending Luffy to Amazon. Lily. On top of that, he's been both a revolutionary and a warlord, so Kuma's strength is on another level. Just look at the destruction he caused at Thriller Bark. Next up, we've got the Dozendata, and the strongest from this race is Charlotte Normand. I mean, she's literally the first and only Dozendata we've ever seen, and the only thing we know about her is that she's Big Mom's 38th daughter and she likes playing with butterflies. But hey, since she's the only Dozendata around, that makes her the strongest by default. Now the last of the hybrid races is the Zushindodo, a super rare mix between dwarves and giants. So rare in fact that we don't know of any Zushindodo. With that, we're done with the hybrid races, so let's move on to the artificial races, and the first artificial race we're going to talk about is the Automata, and the strongest Automata is Spacey. Yep, First Lieutenant Spacey is one of the Automata built by Tsukimi on Karakuri Island. He's this small little android decked out in full military gear with a bushy mustache, army jacket, helmet, and even a rifle slung over his shoulder. And don't let his size fool you, he's actually pretty good in a fight. Plus, this little guy is insanely loyal. Moving on, let's talk about the cyborgs, and we've got some real heavy hitters here, like Frankie and Queen. But the strongest cyborg has to be Eustace Kid. This guy's got insane raw power and destructive potential. Plus, with his magnet fruit, he basically turns himself into a walking weapon factory, pulling in metal, building giant arms, and wrecking everything in his path. He's tough, ruthless, and hits like a truck. I mean, he even went head-to-head with Big Mom and did some serious damage. So yeah, he's absolutely the strongest cyborg. But who's the strongest zombie? Easy, Zombie Ors. He's a massive ancient giant who's already ridiculously strong on his own. But when Moria puts Luffy Shadow inside him, he gets all of Luffy's strength, speed, battle instincts, and of course, Luffy's rubber powers. That also means that Zombie Ors isn't just some big mindless brute. He's literally a giant Luffy on steroids, and none of the other zombies even come close to that level of chaos and destruction. Next up, we've got the Centaurs, Setters, and Harpy, and the strongest out of this weird bunch is definitely Brownbeard. Just so you know, these guys are all humans who got their bodies mixed with animal parts thanks to Law's powers. Anyway, Brownbeard is a massive guy fused with a crocodile, and he leads an entire crew of centaurs. He's also got real combat experience as a former pirate captain and even survived to run in with Basil Hawkins, so that puts him way above the rest of these goofy hybrids. Sure, he's still kind of goofy himself, but he's easily the strongest of the bunch. Another goofy, but honestly sad race, is the toys, and the strongest toy is the Thunder Soldier. Why? Because he's actually Kiro, who was a legendary gladiator before being turned into a toy by Sugar, and even with just one leg in that tiny toy body, he's still powerful and ridiculously skilled at fighting. So even as a toy, Kiro was still a beast, doing everything he could to protect his daughter Rebecca. Now we've got the homies, and here we got to talk about Zeus. He's literally the living thundercloud fuse with a piece of Big Mom's soul, which gives him insane power. And out of all the homies, Zeus definitely has the most raw destructive potential. His lightning strikes are just on a whole other level. And now that he's combined with Nami's climate act, he's even deadlier. Plus, he can also turn into a spike club and hit people. Before we move ahead, please take a second to like on this video. A like tells me that you enjoyed this topic. Your support helps Amazing Apai grow naturally with physical attacks. So even though Prometheus is very strong, as well, I would put Zeus as number 1. Moving on, let's talk about the clones and Stussy. Stussy is easily the strongest clone in all of One Piece, and that's because she's not just any clone. She's a clone of Miss Buckingham Stussy, a former Rocks pirate. On top of that, she's also a secret agent for CP0, which means she's insanely skilled in both spy work and combat. Plus, thanks to her vampire-like devil fruit, she can fly, bite, and knock people out in an instant. Just look at how she took down Kaku, one of CP0 top agents, like it was nothing. So yeah, out of all the clones, Stussy is built different literally. Next up, the Pacifista, and the strongest one of them all is obviously X0 Akakuma. Thanks to their massive size and build, the Pacifistas have some insane physical strength, and that's just the beginning. Like, these guys can also literally shoot lasers out of their mouths, and since Kuma is Exvo, he's got the power of the Pawpaw fruit. But hey, we already talked about how insanely strong Kuma is, so let's move on to the next race, the Seraphim. And the strongest Seraphim, that's S-Hawk. I mean, this guy is literally modeled after Mihawk, the world's greatest swordsman, so his sword skills are insane, fast, deadly accurate, and strong enough to scare Blackbeard. Oh, and that same Slash also carved a massive chunk out of Amazon Lily's mountain, and he was even able to hold his own against Zoro. Plus, he's part artificial Lunarian, so he's got crazy durability and stamina from those signature flames. And let's not forget that he's got Pacifista lasers in his palms and the Super no meat, turning his whole body into steel blades. Now, let's talk about modified humans, and the only known modified humans are the Vincimoke siblings. So, who's the strongest Vincimoke? Well, it's obviously Sanji. Because, well, he was literally the strongest even before he awakened his Germagons, using his powerful kicks to put a literal dent in his brother's face. And now he's on a whole other level, using his speed, power, and new Ifrit Jambay to take out Queen with his intense flames. So this cooking and kicking monster is of course the obvious choice here. But what about the numbers? Well, the strongest of these weird creatures is Heisha. Heisha's actually the only number we know. The age of, and get this, he's 188 years old. Crazy, right? Anyway, thanks to his massive size, Heisha is extremely powerful, and with just a few casual swings of his giant club, he can smash through stone floors, break wooden platforms, and even leave holes in solid ground. He could even pick up his fellow number jockey like it was nothing, so it's no wonder everyone had a really difficult time taking down this powerful guy. Now, on to the last artificial race, and last, but definitely not least, we've got the demons. And the strongest demon, or demons, would have to be Dory and Bragi. You see, demons are a race created by a Mu, who forcefully transforms others through demonic contracts, and that's exactly what happened to Dory and Bragi. These two legendary giants were turned into actual demons, becoming way bigger than before, towering over even other giants. They also got demonic wings, black horns, huge tusks, and their eyes started glowing with crazy energy trails. But it wasn't just physical changes, their whole personalities changed too, as they turned into bloodthirsty monsters who turned on their own people and followed Imu's commands without hesitation. Super scary, right? Alright, we've got one race left. But first, we're leaving the artificial races behind and heading into something even wilder. The extraterrestrial races, and the one and only extraterrestrial race we've seen so far, are the space pirates. And the strongest space pirate is Samers. Captain Samers is a fox-like alien with a white beard, a top hat, and a full bodysuit with what looks like manometers strapped to it. Samers first showed up in Annel's cover story and immediately attacked both Spacey and Annel without warning, showing he's not afraid to throw hands. He also carries a spear and knows how to use it, which made him a really dangerous guy. Well, until Annel zapped him, so that was every single race in One Piece. And their strongest character. Which race is your favorite? Let me know in the comments below. Thanks for watching and watch this video next. If you enjoyed this video, please hit the like button and subscribe to Amazing Pie. Subscribing makes sure you do not miss the next video and it gives me motivation to keep improving the quality of every upload. Thank you for being here and I will see you in the next one.